Series.
Uh-oh, that's big news there.
That is very big news. Scott Foster, there's Gafford with a dunk. Scott six years ago.
Yeah, got me called out, partner, because of that.
Lob for Prosper is too tall, and that's 6 in transition. And speaking of transition, Brevin, that is how Dallas likes to play. They like to play at pace. They like to play in the paint. Not a big three-point shooting team. Cooper Flagg has it with 7 to shoot. And a foul.
At such a consistent rate, then they can continue to have the pace that they would like to play at. But the fouls are allowing games to be half-court oriented.
Gafford with his spin. That one dances off the rim, and the rebound to Prosper. Omax puts his head down, attacks Gafford. Off the high glass, it dances. That one. Dallas is wrapping up a 6-game road trip, their longest of the season. And G.G. Jackson pulls off the P.J. Washington miss from deep. Omax for 3.
So we always talk about the new P.J. Washington wanted it more, goes in for the lane. But that's how the game is played today.
It is indeed. Dallas only 2-9 since the All-Star break, averaging just under 108 points per game. Rupert steps out. Flagg covers him up. Pocket pass intended for Wells. 9 to shoot. Trying to create in the lane, and that won't drop in. Lid on that basket. Christie loves the 3 ball, doesn't love him back. Rebound Omax.
Nice box out there by Omax.
Grizzlies actually won the rebounding battle against Philadelphia the other night and losing 139-129. The big issue, as Rob Fisher pointed out, it was the turnovers, particularly in the fourth quarter. G.G. Jackson not moving their feet, reaching, grabbing, committing fouls.
When you're undersized, you have to figure out that there's going to be a level of reaching that goes along with that.
Max Christie sprints the other way. Oh, yes! G.G. Jackson, what a rejection, but
by G.G., we said growth. Growth is when you're able to make changes throughout your game, and that's what we see from G.G. Both ends.
His defense has been much better. Wells, a non-shooting foul, seeing these two teams with a midfoot sprain. Grizzlies won at 124-109. Small to the dotted line. Floater up and off, and Prosper can't reel in the rebound. Grizzlies 0 from the floor as Flagg flares it out, and a Christie 3 is through. And it's thrown into the middle of what was supposed to be a longer road trip, and the Grizzlies happen to play 4 and 5 nights.
Just check your phone on who we're playing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the way that I've done it. Hey, Coach Isolo, during that last time out, he just said offensively a little bit right now, we're getting in the paint, but we're getting there late. He said we got to be more aggressive to the basket. We're not attacking right away. We need to do that a little bit more.
And the Grizzlies started 0 of 3 on shots in the painted area. Small, a floater. That dances in. Flagg off the curl, works against Rupert, and Rupert will get called for a blocking for a hardship situation with all the injuries the Grizzlies are having. They've been playing with the Memphis hustle, averaging about 20 a game. That's saved on the baseline, but to Jemai Mashak, who checks in. The masked man going to the rim, challenging Cooper Flagg.
Well, he lost the basketball as he was going up for that shot.
A look ahead to Gafford underneath the rim, and that's out of bounds. 3 30-point games. Gives way to Rupert, who deals down to 2.
Nice shot there by Rupert. Mid-range jump shot, a nice little step back. I almost wonder sometimes, because of the way that he shoots the basketball, he has extremely big hands. How tough it will be to go from a dribble into a mid-range pull-up jump shot, but he did it there.
Flagg with a pull-up 3. That had 3 already. Rupert to the cup. Got that one to go as well with the Grizzlies. He's averaging 11.5 since joining the Grizzlies after being waived by Portland.
It's been a revelation for the Grizzlies, but also for himself and what he has done with this opportunity with the Grizzlies.
Christie, Flagg. Flagg drives, flips it up and in. Rupert, a fadeaway, good again. Rayan Rupert.
In the offense. Well, Rupert took that to heart and continues to attack early in the shot clock.
Burton guarding Flagg. Najee Marshall drives. They flare to the corner. And Chris Middleton dropped 3, and the lead is 5 midway through quarter number 1. Rupert, this time it's a 3, and it's off the heel. And the rebound to Chris Middleton.
Why not Rupert? He played shot here in his first quarter. See if he's still feeling it.
Najee Marshall, there's contact.
The owner of the New Zealand Breakers.
And Najee Marshall. It's the All-Star break. They're second in the league in stocks. Defensively, they've done some good things with deflections and forced turnovers, but there they turn it over themselves. And here comes Najee Marshall. Missed it short, tapped around, and there's Rupert. Rupert trying to go to work, needs a bailout. Hendricks will take it down the lane. Got Bagley up in the air. Got his own miss. Rupert. And a loose ball.
One-on-one opportunities to attack quickly. And if you don't attack, then get off of it to set another screen, and it'll be.
This is Dallas's leading scorer, averaging 15 a game. Coming off a 13-point game Tuesday in Atlanta.
Grizzlies head coach.
Well, and he also transitioned later in his career from being a primetime point guard to being, look, I understand I'm a complimentary player. I'm not the point guard I used to be, so I'm going to shoot threes and be really effective at it.
He became supremely effective at standstill three-point shooting.
Meshack behind a Hendricks screen. Shot clock down to 8. Rupert off the drive has a backhanded. Burton misses. Bagley the rebound.
You were talking a little bit about Najee Marshall last game between these two. We didn't have that engaged Najee Marshall that worked in the Grizzlies' favor. It'd be fine for him to not be as engaged, but Middleton off the bench, 2 threes for him. You know that he's engaged tonight.
Yes, and an 11-point lead for Dallas. Grizzlies have not led in this game.
One thing that we haven't seen from the Grizzlies, Meshack into the basket tonight. Haven't seen it become a notorious 30-point scoring first quarter team.
Yeah, this is very un-Grizzly-like with only 11 points with 8 gone by here in the first quarter.
We got 8 bodies, and one of them being a hardship signing today as Bagley goes to the rim. Struggles for this Grizzlies team.
Yeah, Grizzlies short of bodies, and I was talking with Tomas Isolo before the game. Here's Burton, he'll try a 3, that's off. And he said, I said, how do you balance rest, practice, video work? He says, minimum effective dosage. You don't try to overdose guys because the time isn't there, the energy isn't there. And he referenced the fact that there's a cumulative effect of all the games. He said it's not fatigue on a game-by-game basis, as Martin rattles that one in and out, but it's cumulative. And with all the injuries, with all the adversity, here's a Hendricks 3 that's off, boarded by Brandon Williams. The fatigue is cumulative, and you feel it.
The other reason is because a lot of these guys weren't playing minutes. It's a nice knockaway there by Rupert. So you go from not playing much at all to all of a sudden playing major minutes in multiple games. So yeah, you can expect there to be a level of fatigue from these guys.
Wells for 3, got it.
But I'll tell you what you won't get is you won't get any complaining that you're going to play, that you have to play a lot of minutes in consecutive games to show what you're capable of doing.
It was called a 3-pointer on the floor. Scott Foster asking Secaucus to double check it. Martin. If at first you don't succeed, Rupert, Jackson, Prosper, Wells, and Small, the 5 that started the game tonight. Brian Nembhard is in for Dallas. Wells for 3. Brings
Grizzlies out of timeout. A little away screen allows Jalen Wells to come to the ball and step into it in rhythm.
For Jalen Wells, that's now 9 straight games with multiple 3-point makes. Washington on a back down, a floater runs the rim, and then Gigi going to work against P.J. Washington. And the Grizzlies in the painted area. And they got quality looks.
Yeah, some were unlucky. We talked about how many times the ball bounced around on the rim, just wouldn't fall in.
Gafford pulling Prosper. Ball.
Oh, we saw P.J. Washington go to it on the last possession. So Dallas intent on trying to make the Grizzlies repair tips that one, but to the wrong team.
Gafford, size advantage, and it ends up being 8 offensive rebounds. Small, driving, dishing. And out of bounds. And it is now the percent from the line. And out. Wells converts all 3. Gremlin Wells, but he fouls flag.
In the scoring area because of his sound. Jalen Wells just didn't hear him. But you go back to what Cooper Flag is capable of doing. They give the ball in scoring area, and then for him, side you are leaning, he just reverses and goes away from it to create advantage.
Wells for three. Omax trying to climb these. That is not Dallas's preferred mode of offense. Jalen Wells with the block. Omax there as well. Small finds Gigi over flag for two.
Deep, what you said, stops. Department the Grizzlies have continued to step up, and good block there defensively, igniting the break.
Prosper credited with the block. Flag with an air ball, but it ends up in the hands of Gafford for two. Small and knocked away, picked up by Middleton. Nembhard, lob and a finish. Small lobs, Prosper, and Omax needed that first field goal of the game for him.
I say this two times out of the timeout. Something that the Grizzlies had become known for in the past of being a very good ATO play team, which means after timeout play, two of them here produce points.
Marvin Bagley back in the game. Gafford goes down. Gafford already with 11 points in the game. Middleton, baseline jumper. Really good mid-range player, and even just Rob Fisher, what's going on in the Grizzlies huddle?
Well, Coach Isolo told the team we're not getting back defensively quick enough, not allowing us to match up at all. And he said it's one thing if it's after a turnover, but or after misses. We've got to get back a lot quicker defensively so we can get the defensive set we want to be in.
Oh, finds an opening for three. It's through for Javon Small. Javon shooting 47% from distance in the last 13 games, and he triples the Grizzlies within 10. Flag floater, short, but got his own miss. Middleton, and Chris Middleton, 15th season out of Texas A&M.
Still what you should do to become as great of a player. Has a lot though left in his body.
Yeah, but Dallas happy to have him. And Bagley with a block.
I think the two slow steps allow Bagley to get back into the play.
Flag in transition. Bagley bothered by Wells. And then P.J. Washington is fouled by Maychak when they face Dallas in the play-in game. And the Grizzlies won the play-in game, which earned them the right to face Oklahoma City in the first round of the playoffs. P.J. Washington.
What they can do, these are long in the two players that are still playing, as I said earlier, the regular rotation in minutes for this Mavericks team.
Here's Wells for three. That's up over and out of bounds. Back.
And the thing with the Anthony Davis situation was, it was still him being hurt for the majority of the time. Even it was a short stint with Dallas. It was still mired in injuries. Again, flagged to get into the post.
Flag was 7, and that's 30 paint points for Dallas, and their lead now up to 16. That's their largest. Omax a three, and P.J. Washington skies for the rebound. Because you look at the talent level of Dallas, just on paper, you think their talent level in 21-44, that just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it doesn't match at all, but a lot of it is because the star talent for them was not available on a regular basis.
Wells battling Christie.
Their star player will be, and at this jump, being healthy enough to show you him being the centerpiece for this team, then this is where they are at this juncture. Again, they'll get another high draft pick. You get a chance to see what that young player can do, but you still need to mix it around. Some vet guys, they have vet guys on the team.
But they don't have that veteran star, which would be a Kyrie Irving. Max Christie off with the three. And Najee Marshall was standing.
No Cam Spencer. The amount of guys that are missing that will create shots for other guys means that this offense here struggling, especially being a lot of half-court basketball.
Marshall and Burton holding his position, but then the outlet pass stolen. Brandon Williams. Marshall with a back down.
Yeah, Burton, I mean, the thing with Maychak, moved in Williams with the block. Maychak is our point guard here. Again, after playing center in the other game.
Max Christie. Ooh. Wells runs down the outlet pass. Brandon Williams, a flyby. Hendricks. Burton. And Najee Marshall the rebound. Christie will get a free run to the rim. Rupert for three. Bagley taps the rebound and runs it down on the sideline. I would imagine, as you look at Najee Marshall take it all the way to the rim and in, 8 in a row. They have not won this month. Their last win was February 24th at Brooklyn. And in fact, they've lost 17 of 19. Meshack for three. And those two were road wins at Brooklyn and Indiana. And they don't look like a team on the tail end of a 6-game road trip. Repair, Euro step, reverse layup. Nope, but he's fouled.
So there is something to be played for in the pride that these Mavericks have. You're seeing it tonight.
Grizzlies have dominated the recent history of the series. They have won 6 in a row against Dallas, 7 if you count the play-in. That's the longest Grizzlies win streak ever. Grizzlies have never swept Dallas in a 4-game series. And 5 of the 6 wins by Memphis over Dallas in that stretch by double digits. The closest one was November 22nd in Dallas. Grizzlies won 102-96. But
to be able to deflect the ball.
Shot clock down to 5. Williams drives off the high glass and down. Brandon Williams off the bench tonight was 6. Meshack, a clean look at a 3. Bango. Jemai Meshack.
Nice cross-court pass there by Gigi, and good job by Meshack. No hesitation on the rhythm 3.
Gafford back in the game, and Dallas throws it away. Cooper Fleck. 3 remaining in the first half. Hendricks rolling to the rim. Over Gafford, left it short. Been that kind of night, shooting in the painted area. Najee Marshall all the way inside, throws it to an open area. Flag runs it down, finds Gafford for the dunk. Daniel Gafford with 13 here in the first half. He's been averaging 16 a game in the last 3, and his last 3 have all been double-doubles, and he's en route tonight, 13 and 7. Javon Small with a long 2. Pretty much.
Such easy attempts. Good hands there by Small.
So Dallas turns card this season. Gafford. Oh.
It's maybe of the dunk variety.
Yeah. 64% from the floor. And that point miss. And Gafford shooting 64% from the floor this season. And as you had pointed out, Brevin, here's Flag. He steps up to 3. P.J. Washington, offensive rebound. Another offensive rebound. P.J. ripping it away. And the Grizzlies get a stop. Gigi with a drop-off for Omax. And Wells, a rhythm 3. Bango. Jalen.
Good from the arc tonight. 3 of 6 from.
What Ivan Lukic said, you got to play collectively. Flag spinning off glass and
Getting him the ball in a scoring position. Javon Small rises up. Second 3 of the game.
Small making his 5th start.
They took one of his 3s away, partner, and call it a 2 at one point.
They may have. You know what? They didn't take it. He was a 2. He had a step back. Line. Yeah,
got it.
The step back. Yeah. He'll try another 3. And rebound to Gafford. Grizzlies have not led in this game. Dallas has led throughout by as many as 20. Flag, again, likes the spin move, sets up Mac Christie for a corner 3. Mac Christie of the game.
You almost got to look at Cooper Flag a little bit like Şengün with the spin move.
Yes.
Because you have, every time they have the ball, you have to expect some variety of the spin move to come.
Max's 3 is short. Flag, not only it's the spin move that reminds you of Şengün, that's off the fingertips of Gafford. A little more than 3 gone by in the 3rd. G.G. Jackson has the mismatch. Works against Christie. Backs him down, and the 4. Chicago with a couple.
Exactly on the floor.
Right. And your guy Dwight Powell.
I said the last game they played Dwight Powell for the versatility. This game they said forget versatility. We're going with brute strength.
Yeah. Omax against Gafford. You see how important that size is for Dallas. Shot clock down to 1. GG hanging, but missing. But drew a foul, so Scott Foster. I always tell the referees, have a good game and stay healthy.
Yes.
Of the season for him.
Played well off the bench also in Philly. This is good for him to be able to, in whatever scenario, situation that they put him in from now until the end of the season, he's going to have to continue to be as consistent as he has been.
Marshall turns the corner, sets up flag for 3, and the rebound, Javon Small. Grizzlies with numbers going forward. Omax! 67, and Marvin Bagley to the scorer's table. Jemai Meshack to the scorer's table for the Grizzlies. P.J. Washington off the bounce. He drives, had it. But the Grizzlies, even though they win the challenge, they turn it over, and it's going to result in a breakaway for P.J. Washington. Grizzlies going to their bench here with Burton and Meshack. 7.5 remaining in the third. Meshack on Omax corner 3. He's been pretty reliable with that shot, but well off there.
You say Omax 3, I'm looking forward to go in.
Yeah.
He has great looks because if he's playing against a big that's a drop big, he's really gotten good at picking and popping.
Flag misses the floater, rebound tapped around. Meshack trying to weave his way inside, dissuaded by P.J. Washington. Give back, little give and go, and Jemai Meshack receives.
I think you give some of these Grizzlies players, not some, you give them all credit for it, is their basketball IQ, because not playing with one another, they still read and react very well together.
Clean look for Washington. His 3 is long. Rupert running rebound. Grizzlies again with numbers going forward. Burton, a wide open 3. Meshack Wells as we near the midway point of quarter number 3. Christie will rise, fire, and miss a 3.
The Grizzlies would have an opportunity to come back. They're doing that right here. Rupert, another pull-up jump shot as he gets, but he got smacked all up on the hands and wrist area.
Christie on the counterattack. Points per game. They're up to 13 there, and Scott Foster has returns for Dallas. Middleton with an 11-point first half. Burton down the lane off the high glass. 1 of 7 in his NBA debut. Flag, tough catch, great finish. And again, it's the transition game, and that had to be priority 1 for the Grizzlies. Get back defensively, and on successive possessions, that has not happened.
And the thing is, why you can't be happy is Meshack top of the key 3.
GG for 3. Nope.
The reason why you can't be happy with the lack of defensive transition because the Grizzlies are the quicker team. So that is just you wanting to run both ways, not just run one way.
Yeah, so a couple to 2 second chance points tonight.
Oh, yeah, Hendricks with the meeting at the rim there with Flag.
Taylor steps out, thought about the 3. Rupert, no. Hendricks following the play. Second chance basket for the Grizzlies tonight, and both of them coming from Taylor Hendricks.
Bagley went to help. Hendricks is waiting for that rebound.
Bagley will tee up a 3. On the season, on low shot attempts, he is 42% from deep. G.G. Jackson, a little bit of bully ball, but well played by Dallas, but it ends up.
The one thing you won't question is how hard those players will play.
Right. Well, these 2 teams are the top 2 in single-digit games this year. Middleton bails out of it, gets it back. Middleton wants a drive, sets up Najee Marshall. 3 ball off, and it's boarded by Meshack. A look ahead. Hendricks with a dunk. 4-point game.
And again, the togetherness at which they are playing, they're still just getting to know one another and playing extremely well together.
And because of the compressed schedule, there's not a lot of practice time.
Burton working inside here against Gafford.
Middleton, Gigi flies by. Middleton misses the three, and a rebound tapped out of bounds. Grizzlies ball. It's time they've led through 3 quarters. Middleton for 3. So that's 5 straight by Middleton.
One thing that I'm going to watch in this 4th quarter, partner, are the turnovers. There's the first one here of this 4th. Keep control of their turnovers here in this 4th quarter.
Middleton. Wow. There's your veteran.
Yeah, but his last 2 shots, what it was, he looked down and saw Javon Small. Javon Small's going to get all the way into his body. He continues to stay a step away. Chris Middleton is too tall. He's just shooting right over the top of him.
Middleton with 19 off the bench tonight. Small driving. Felt there was contact. Loose ball picked up by Prosper. No reset of the shot clock. The Gigi Jackson 3 runs to the rim. No. Tapped by Prosper, but picked up by Nembhard. It's Flag, Gafford, Christie, Nembhard, and Middleton on the floor for Dallas. And just his 3rd 20-point game of the season.
Wow, quickly this game. 2 minutes is going from a tied basketball game to the Grizzlies down 11 on the court.
And when you look at these 2 rosters and who's available tonight, that is the decided difference between Dallas and Memphis. Dallas has that guy in Chris Middleton who has a ring. Fade away by Gigi is good.
Well, we always say that the Grizzlies ultimately were losing a lot of these games in 4th quarters because they were playing against veteran guys that were doing them in terms of finishing the games.
Yeah. And Middleton is that guy.
So this
Cash money. Vince has been there. He's done that, and he's doing it again tonight. Javon Small going to the rim. Reset the lineups for Dallas. It's Flag, Gafford, Christie, Middleton, and Nembhard. Rupert, Jackson, Prosper, Wells, and Small for the Grizzlies. Middleton, backdoor cut. Gafford. They swing it to an open Christie for 3.
One guy that is very comfortable from the 3-point line that you have to get to. You talk about Middleton, but Christie is the other guy.
Wells comes up short. It's a 16-4 Dallas run. That guy accounting for 11 straight at one point. And picks up the loose ball. Finds Gafford.
He's earned these 2. He's seen enough dunks from Daniel Gafford tonight and knows that that is a high percentage shot. Make him earn these 2.
Yeah, this is Milwaukee Bucks sidekick to Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton.
This is exactly what he did to become that 3-time All-Star. Mid-range nightmare.
Prosper's 3 is through.
That's finally.
First 3-point make for Omax in 7 tries. But Middleton a season high 26. He'll try again. He'll make again. And Chris Middleton just decided, you know what? 8 losses in a row, 17 in 19 games. He'll finally over G.
That's like they both 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and a credit to Dallas is that they used him. First play of the game, they went to him in the post. Since then, he has been a focal point for them offensively.
Well, if you're an opposing coach and you look at the Grizzlies' lack of size, and if you don't throw it into the paint with regularity, that's like coaching malpractice. Christie for 3. Rebound tapped to an open area. Javon Small hustling after it. Loose ball, so it's not over and back. Flag gets a Christie screen. Lost the ball against the defensive repair. Middleton. Over Gigi Jackson. Fires up the
range. Nightmare.
Prosper's 3 is through Max in 7 tries. But Middleton a season high 26. He'll try again. He'll make again. A Gigi Jackson 3. Boarded by Gafford. He goes to the floor. Grizzlies trying to dig it free. Prosper with possession. Small. Wells got a screen by Small, sends it.
Great hustle there by the Grizzlies. Gaffer goes to the floor. The Grizzlies swarm him to come up with the steal that results in the pull-up jumper.
Javon Small, his 9th assist of the game.
Good job from the double team to come to not allow another shot over the top.
Rupert trying to blow by Flag, and the Grizzlies turn it over. And Dallas turns.
Conversely, playing half-court basketball on their end means that it makes it that much harder for them to get good looks. Good tap out there by Burton.
Grizzlies see Omax against Bagley. Rupert. Meshack against the shot clock. Got to hustle it up. Rupert's 3 is off the back iron, boarded by Wells. Took it away from Nembhard. Meshack
amongst the trees with the finish.
Flag, Washington, Christie, Williams, and Bagley. And a defensive foul. Williams, an open 3. Rebound, tap to the sideline, and kept in play by Williams. Flag driving off glass for 2. Cooper Flag with 13. He averaged 12 a game in the 2 games in which he played against Memphis. Missed the last one with that midfoot sprain that kept him out for a bit. Taylor Hendricks steps out. His 3, rimming no. Offensive rebound, Meshack. Jive. Oh, thought that was going in.
Unfortunate that it didn't. Great work to get the basketball to even have a shot opportunity.
Shot clock at 8. Flag against Burton. Burton falls down. Flag flips it up. No. And an offensive rebound. The 20th of the game and a shot clock violation. Lead back to double digits. Meshack's floater long. A rough shooting night for Jemai, just 3 of 10. Washington bully ball and a 2-point field goal. Chris Middleton back on the floor for Dallas. A game high 29 for Middleton. Doing the damage late 3rd, early 4th. Jalen Wells sends it, scores it. Jalen Wells, a 20-point game. That is his 7th of the season. He's had a pair of 25-point games this season, both of them on the road. Christie goes to the floor, stolen by Wells. Going behind the back. Middleton is back. A little show and go, and Wells going to the rack for 2.
We talked about it, and we've continued to talk about how much Jalen Wells has meant to this team, but also how much of it is offensive foul there on Williams. Well, when he entices a foul, that one brings joy to him.
Burton's floater. Flag against Hendricks. That little counter move, but missed. And again, an offensive rebound for Dallas. It's been that way all night long. And then Williams draws a foul as he drives.
LeBron scored 20.2. Second most 20-plus point games, 12 as an 18-year-old. LeBron had 14, and he scored 49 against Charlotte this year, the most by a teenager in NBA history. That's when
the NBA ready for this opportunity.
Away 2 timeouts here because the clock's going to go under 3 minutes. And Dallas will magically have only 2 timeouts remaining.
I think Jason Kidd is more concerned with this clock continuing to move.
Rupert, a rainbow 3.
As they have the lead, but Rupert, a big night for him also here tonight.
Rupert getting the start, 13 for him.
7 rebounds also for Rupert.
Middleton, good again, 32.